We are live. Hey folks, how's it going? This is the Writing Manzoni live feed. Welcome, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Good morning. Hell, there's plenty of international followers out there. How's everybody doing? This is the Ask Anything chat, and I'll talk about anything. Pretty much anything. There might be one or two things I might not touch for the 10-foot pole, but if that's one of those things, I'll let you know. Hey, if you got any questions, bring them on. Come on. Come on. So, yeah. I am excited. I am excited for the future of humanity, and at the same time, completely and utterly disgusted. Why is that? Well, shit just, there's so many good things ahead, looking forward. Beautiful things, technological achievements, the likes of which we could never have possibly dreamed of. And on the other hand, there is the darkness of humanity, the sinking evil, the deterioration that exists, that is growing. And some of that is occurring in Ukraine today. Compliments of President Putin. Fuck that guy. Mature audiences only, by the way. It's not a kid's domain. Alright? If it's kitty time, I'll tell you it's kitty time. I'll say, ooh, Alex is gonna read some stories for the kids. You know? It's just some things that people shouldn't be exposed to. Or maybe they should be. I'm not the one making the decisions here. TikTok says all kinds of shit. And it's hard to really figure out what is allowed and what isn't. Because I noticed that there's a lot of stuff that I'll say that I've been community striked for. And I'll be like, oh, look, they're talking about smoking dope on this one. Oh, it's right in the title. What is this? It's tough, man. Especially since I, as a poet, I want to express my feelings and all of my thoughts without a filter. I want to just not filter it, throw it out there, and smack you in the face with it. And if you like it, fine. And if you don't, there's the door. But, they just let you just do whatever, and then just once in a while just kick you right in the testicles. Boom! And say, hey, by the way, that thing you posted like 6 months ago, that's against our rules. We're taking it off. So I'm just going to do what I do. And if they take me down, they take me down. As far as I can tell, I'm not doing anything too bad. But when I talk about my life stories, just stuff that has happened to me in my life, it ends up violating something. They don't like it. They don't like what I've got to say. Well, fine. You just have to go elsewhere to get it. Just a shame that this is where you gotta be now. You gotta be here, you gotta be there, you gotta be, ooh, I'm on the TikTok, I'm doing this. You go anywhere anymore, and people are just standing around, taking pictures of themselves, videotaping themselves. This is me at the bridge. Look at this, it is amazing. This is the bridge that I love. Oh, the Statue of Liberty. One time, France bought it for us, and they sent it over on a boat. Did they? They probably did. It's probably a series of boats. Never mind that. Never mind. It's just confusing. I am very confused. I am in a constant state of confusion and just general discomfort as to why, where, and when I need to go. I'm confused about what I'm allowed to post and what I'm not allowed to post on these sites, especially TikTok, though, because that is kind of... I mean, have you seen the list of all the rules? It is ridiculous. And not a lot of people are following them. I mean, some people are. But it seems like there's some accounts that are just get away with everything. And I'm not talking about the big shots. Because, yeah, they're bringing in the money, so they're not going to do anything about them. But just normal accounts that are posting about doing illegal activities and things like that. Things that I got community strikes for just referring to when I first started an account here. I thought, ooh, I'm going to do some of my characters. I'm going to dress up and do some characters. And it didn't go over well. I mean, it did in the sense that they got views, but it didn't go over well in the sense that it ruined my night when I got that message. Oh, well, you took your shit down because of something, I don't know. It was the alcohol or just the references I was making. And then other times when I just talk about my life or some of the poems I've written get taken down. Like, I've gotten demonetized on YouTube for poems I wrote years ago. And I don't even make any money on YouTube. They've never... I don't know how many years ago it was, but it used to be that everybody who was posting on YouTube was making money. At least some kind of money. Like, I was up to almost like 10 cents or something. Or $1. I don't know. But I was proud of that 10 cents or $1. It was probably 10 cents. And then one day I find out, oh, now you need like 1,000 viewers or 1,000 subscribers and 100,000 views, and that just breaks my heart. Because every time I start getting ahead, they move the goalposts. They move them all around. And I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. So here I am, live, sitting here on a couch, exposing myself to the whole of humanity. Here I am. What? What do I do? Read some poetry. I do like doing that. I love reading poetry. If only more people were appreciative of it. That's why I like to answer questions about it. Poetry. Because people have questions. They ask, how much do you get paid for doing poetry? Not much. Usually nothing. Usually they expect you to do it for free. And they just do it for you're doing it for the likes and the exposure. And I'm happy to volunteer to help. I am. When it's something that I believe in. I've said this before in my other videos. But I don't like it when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Or I'm being abused. Or just not being appreciated. And I tell you what, if you're looking for money, don't get into poetry. Unless you want to do something like that Rupi Kaur lady who does Hallmark kind of greeting card style poems, and then she draws a little picture, black and white, and a couple hearts, and it looks all cute. It's like a poetry greeting card. And I think she's the most popular poet on Instagram. But that's what people like. They like to keep it simple. They don't want to think too much. Sometimes I'd like to keep it simple, and other times I want to get into the nitty-gritty. I want to get into this and find out what makes us tick. That would be great. Find out what the hell's going on with everybody in society and all that. Even people I know. I don't know what my mother's thinking. I hope she's not in the chat. She's on. By the way, I stopped posting so much over the last few months because just my mother got more active on TikTok and it got more uncomfortable for me. It's increasingly more uncomfortable. The more follows I get and the more posts I make and the more accounts I make. And it just gets more and more difficult when other people, especially your family, want to come and talk about it, about something I said or wrote. And she'll be like, you lie! That didn't happen like that. Or you over dramatize things. You're a drama queen. Maybe I am sometimes. But I've got a very weird memory in the sense that I remember certain things very, very, very well. I'll remember details about stuff that don't matter to anybody else. And it'll come locked away in my brain. And I'll remember it for a million years. But then my memory's terrible anything else. Like if you tell me, give me a couple of numbers to remember and tell me to remember them, I won't remember them. What day of the week is it? Thursday. Well, I got lucky there. I remembered that I looked at my calendar earlier. It's just difficult for me to just certain things. It just don't gel in my head. But other things do, and I think that's why I've been have such an easy time writing poetry and creative writing, things of that nature. It's just that my brain is not equipped like a normal person's, but in the other way, hey, it's got some other skills that you might not have even realized. Did you know I used to get made fun of for being goofy looking? And now I'm like, shit. High school or middle school, man, I should have been the king. I should have been kicking ass and taking names. Instead, I was very meek and unsure of myself, and it's weird. And, well, I was on a lot of psychiatric medication, so it happens. It really does. Now I'm like, man, whatever. You know what? Being around ugly people will make you feel ugly because they're ugly, and so they'll tell you you're ugly. Like, I was always told that I was scrawny and, weakling, and a lot of words that they use to refer to gay individuals that should not be said to anybody. There are a lot of people that could not be convinced that I was straight. He likes poetry? What? And so they treated me appropriately because they were racist, they were sexist, they were very intolerant. Very. I mean, there were a handful of people that were very tolerant. But for the most part, South Jersey was like hillbilly city. There's the Italian rednecks. Good Lord. Ugh. Well, say a prayer for some of them, or say a prayer for them, because a lot of them are dead now. And it's a damn shame. I wanted to come back one day and have a big party. That's what I wanted to do. Leave the East Coast penniless and just broken. Get to the West Coast, sell my novel, make it big, make it something, and then on my book tour, take a stop back east at the old Newfield and say, hey, look at me. Look at what I did. But, yeah, that would be a very sad reunion now. In fact, the matter is, a lot of the folks that I used to hang out with refuse to talk with the other folks that I used to hang out with. Like, they've written off each other. So it's even if I was there, it'd be like it wouldn't be the same. It was just like, oh, here's your one crowd. You had like my hippie kind of friends, the stoner friends, and then you had the alcoholic friends that, the rednecks and what have you. And yeah, I'd like to say that I was in between. I was trying to find a happy medium, but the fact of the matter is, when you're living out in the middle of nowhere and don't have a lot of people to interact with, and you see the same people every day for decades, you got to get used to them, especially when they won't leave you alone, especially when you have some shared interests. And our interest was, and, and the other thing, but the rednecks, all they wanted to do was talk about like cars and trucks, fixing trucks, pro wrestling, Ted Nugent, the country stuff. I never got into that. Hair, the hair metal. I mean, I like a lot of hair metal, but like hair metal that I don't like as much, kind of more annoying, nasally kind of. Although I do like me some Iron Maiden once in a long while, but kind of people that would put an 8-track player in their car or whatever, man, or in their truck. And I had some good times, but most of those times were only good because I was high as hell and drunk as hell. And once you take that away, realize that, oh, shit, this isn't fun for me. Like, I'm obsessive compulsive to the max. And, I mean, not the max, but to a pretty high level. And being around a bunch of pigs, disgusting people. Just, you come in, you get invited over to party, and there's just not a single spot in the house that's like, you could put your beer down, because it's covered in beers that have been drank and filled with cigarette butts. And you're all like, yeah, let's go crash the boat. Let's go crash the boat. Let's go. And then they want to get high, and then they'll be like, shh, don't talk about that. And then they're talking about it really loud. Shh, Alex, you're so loud. Well, you know what? Maybe that'll come in handy someday. Maybe. But I had to be loud. Because I was around a lot of really loud fucking people. Really loud. It was tough to leave, but I couldn't wait. I really couldn't. And some of my friends used to gather round and talk about how one day we were going to leave South Jersey and what we were going to do. We had so many dreams. Like my brother was supposed to, supposed to get his degree in film, and he was going to go to L.A. One of his friends had gone over there, and he was studying film, or he got his degree and was going to do camera work and stuff. Now his friend went to L.A., but he didn't. He stayed in Philly, and then he went to Spokane. Yeah. So the general consensus was that I was going to have to fight to get a spot in my brother's film set because I had so many problems, but he was going to be so big. And it just didn't happen that way. Well, maybe he's filming a movie now that I don't know about, but I don't think he is. He doesn't like posting on social media. He posts a little bit. A little tiny bit, but not the kind that you're going to need to, like, promote a film or anything. Christ. It's sad. We had this vision of what our lives were going to be, and instead, Well, I kind of imagine, originally I had very high hopes, and then they kind of got, and then around 2008, 2010, my expectations were so low, I thought, hey, I don't care what the hell happens to me as long as I don't die in a gutter somewhere. And here I am, I made it to the West Coast. I finally got a steady girlfriend, and a steady place to live. I've been off of drugs for a long time. And yeah, it really sucks to be an addict, a former addict, and to be like this, because it never goes away. And it sucks to be an addict that doesn't get along with people from NA. But there's a certain kind of crowd. When I went to rehab, they really force you into it. Well, I was on probation, and I went to rehab, was in the sober houses. Yeah. I went to rehab twice, so. But they really want to force you into that. And it's just so many things does not appeal to me. The touchy-feely stuff, just the call, like the chanting kind of call and response stuff they do, the little phrases that, platitudes that are used, you get what you give, and keep it simple, and I guess I'm not keeping it simple enough. It just never, it seemed to work for my contemporaries that were into church and into the group and having that kind of thing going on. It did not help me much. Like, I took some of the ideas from it, and I had to go and find my own way. Like, everything I've done in my life, I've had to find my own way. Ever since the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but ever since I was like a teenager and shit started hitting the fan. My mother was making me make my own doctor's appointments when I was, just starting to get fucked up and bipolar, 12, 13 years old. Like, I have trouble keeping track of this shit today. She wants me to keep track of all my doctor's appointments and things like that. Well, you're going to have to learn. You're going to be an adult soon. But I've been the man of the house since I was 3 years old, so when did I have time to really be a kid? Now, I did have time to be a kid. My mom forced me to have kid fun time. We'd drag me to my grandfather's almost every week, just about. And they would be in the living room watching football. They loved the football. My grandpa was a football star. You look him up. He's in the Hall of Fame for Gettysburg College, Antonio Servino. It was a real football house. He was a football coach. He coached all kinds of shit. He had varsity letters in basketball and baseball and football. Hey, he was a college football star. And I was an artist. I was a creative type. I like computers and Nintendo. I didn't like getting dirty. I was a joke to them. So they'd have the football in the living room, drinking beers and, having a good old time with his friends or yuppies, and what now would be Rush Limbaugh watching motherfuckers. And then I'd be in the back room with my brother watching either TV or, usually TV until my mom would kick us out. Oh, in the later years, I got my grandfather to bring his old PC into that room. So I had the AOL, and I had to deal with Grandma. And I'd be like, Grandma, can I use the internet? She'd be like, no. She was a bitch, Grandma Servino. It was not fun. Never fun. My Italian grandmother that died when I was 6 was a lot of fun. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It would go there, and I would be looking up stuff about my video games, trying to get my new secrets, or I would be in chat rooms, and I would be role-playing, all right, in text chats as Dragon Ball Z characters, Tenchi Muyo. There's a variety of animes, Trigun, there was Gundam, and sometimes fantasy kind of stuff. Like, before I even knew what Dungeons and Dragons was, I was doing this stuff. and I was role playing in chat rooms and making these characters and talking to girls. Ooh, I didn't have a lot of confidence talking to them face to face at school, but I felt more comfortable behind these characters, and I would be Sir Alexander or whatever, and I would be courting the ladies, and I ended up being a slave to one, and that was weird, especially being a 13-year-old. Ooh. And that's when I learned about sexting. Of course, back then we didn't call it that. You just call it cybersex. Cybersex. And then I would get their phone numbers eventually, and then I would ring-a-ding-ding them, call them long distance. The times we shared. And that was always fun, getting in trouble for that. But I'm getting too far ahead of my point. I would be at my grandfather's house, and I'd do my chattings, and that's all I'd be wanting to do. And my mother would come out and be like, "You're going to go outside, and you're going to have fun." And she'd been doing that to me for years. "You're going to have fun or else." It's like, how the fuck am I going to have fun after you yelled at me like that? Jesus Christ. And then, according to my mother, then you would go outside and you would have a blast. And I like to think that I did most of the time, but my memory says that I did and I didn't. I remember hating so much of that. I remember feeling so trapped. God, I don't like feeling trapped. I've been trapped so many times in my life, like a rat. And my definition of trapped is when you're brought somewhere and you can't go. There's no way to get home. I've been trapped in crisis units, recovery houses, rehabs, jails, mental hospitals, just all kinds of crazy places. I'm trapped at friends' houses. I had a fucking older friend kind of abduct me one time, and that was a horrible story. It's messed up, man. And so now, if there's anything that makes me feel claustrophobic, I really get anxious. Very, very anxious. And I blame that on my father for having me. His whole family line is plagued with mental illness. Oh, man. So we got dad's bipolar. My dad's mother was bipolar. I have no idea who that is. I don't know about that. I don't know. Am I supposed to... What is that? The go live with somebody? I don't really know if I should do that. Like, what the hell would happen if I clicked on that? And then it only gives you a few seconds to respond. Why? I don't like that. I don't like time limits. Like, I need time to consider what it is. Like, who the fuck is that? What is the possibilities? Like, is that a bot or not? Is that want to be, is that going to be a mistake? Am I going to jump into some 12-year-old's chat room and he's going to be like, "Hey, I just heard you talk about the sexting." And I'd say, "Sorry, Junior, but, sorry. No, really, sorry." I had some great memories at Grandpa's house. But yeah. So, Grandma had bipolar disorder. My grandpa on my dad's side, I'm not sure because I never met him. Which is interesting. He died of colon cancer the same year as my grandmother, and he left her in the early 60s. Just took all the money and left. Okay. So that family tree, full of mental illness. Then you go to my mom's. My mom, undiagnosed, but she's got depression. Something's going on with her and anxiety. I don't know. I love her so much, but what? And her brother killed himself. And both her parents were alcoholics, and it was tough. And none of them believed in mental illness. These old folks, they did not. They did not. And I didn't even know my grandmother had any mental problems at all until after she was dead. So those old timers, they don't want to talk about nothing. They want to sweep everything under the rug. Just sweep, 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 sweep. Boy, they would really like it now. This world, everything's right here, right now. Right at you. Punching you in the face. Assaulting your senses. Stupid filters turning people into assholes and giant babies with tiny heads. Giant mustaches coming out of nowhere. You know? You turn your asshole into a slot machine if you so desire. That's what living in the year 2022 is all about. It's like we gotta find our way. My generation, Generation Z too, we gotta find our way. And you can't let ourselves be defined by what our parents' expectations are of us. I say that and I keep checking to see if my mother entered the chat yet. Hi, Mom. No, she's not in there. Love you. It makes me nervous. There's a lot of uncomfortable conversations I just don't really want to have. So in this, like, I do have some in common with those old timers. That there are just some things I do not want to talk about. But boy, other people sure do. I've been avoiding one of my old friends for like a year now, Barnesy. And I just couldn't, I just have too much going on that was stressing me out. I couldn't take him stressing me out more. And he wanted to move in with me. And from my experience, when someone tries to move in with me and I say no, they end up fucking doing it anyway. So I thought the best thing to do would be to just cease communications for the foreseeable future. I'm sorry, Matt. Sorry, Barnesy. But I've been gone for 7 years and you're still doing the same thing. And every time I talk to him, like he would call me up, and every time I'd be on the phone with him, he wouldn't let me on the phone. I'd be on there for at least an hour, sometimes like 2 or 3, talking mostly about stuff that happened in the aughts, the 2000s. Like, dude, this isn't, this isn't very applicable anymore. He's talking about, how our friends fucked him over. They made him walk home in a hurricane a long time ago. Yeah, Dan made you walk home in a hurricane. I know. Everybody knows. We're tired. We're tired. If you want to come and move in on my couch, I need to see more progress. Christ. I don't want people moving in, especially in Spokane. Like, if you come in with a backpack, and if you get like one piece of mail sent to someone's house, they need to take you to court to get rid of you. They have very, very tough squatter laws out here. I know, because we had squatters at the apartment I lived at in Brown's Addition, the shitty one. And they had to go to court to get rid of them. And that was, it wasn't even the original renter was in that house. Like the guy who rented it, Russ, was in prison. He went back to prison for not registering as a sex offender. And while he was there, he gave the keys to his cellmate. And the cellmate just came home and just destroyed the place and invited all of his meth head friends and brought the drug dealers by. And it was just party 24/7. And people picking at the walls. They were picking at the other side of the wall. And I'd be like, hey, can you quiet down in there? And be like, shut up, I'll fucking kill you. Threatening to kill me through the wall and shit. And the fucking guy, this goddamn drug dealer, shooting his gun off. This damn prostitute was out there. I don't know if she was a prostitute, but she was always hanging around. And he pulled her into the car, and then I saw the gun, I shut the door, and I heard the gun go off. I'm like, oh, man. Called the cops. It took the gun going off for the cops to come. All the other shit, the needles all over the place. The guy standing in front of my door high with blood dripping down her arm. None of that was applicable. Like that, you couldn't just get rid of them just for that. It was some bullshit. But out in New Jersey, it would have been no problem. It's like, oh, you the guy that was renting, you thought you smelled him smoking pot? All right, get him out. Kick him right the fuck out. Ugh. I mean, would I have got my shit together if I wasn't facing tougher laws and had the cops up my ass for so long? 6 years on probation back in New Jersey. 6 fucking years. Holy crap. How did I make it? No, really, how did I? Well, I became an alcoholic. That was one thing. Because I was a terminal, smoker. And when I went on probation, it was like, oh, you're going to get drug tested now. All right. So I started drinking a lot. And that turned out to be a lot worse. Yeah. So now I don't drink. I have my alcohol collection. But I haven't had a beer in maybe 2 years. Or maybe a year and a half. I don't know. I had like a little tiny champagne for Valentine's Day. A little tiny champagne for New Year's. And I don't know. I had less than 10 drinks last year. I know that. And by drinks, I mean like me taking a couple little drinks. Not actual drinks, like a 12-ounce glass of something or whatever. Because just the medication I'm on, like I'm on buprenorphine, otherwise known as Suboxone, and that does not work well with alcohol. So, my doctor prescribes that to me for my kratom habit, which is something that I had to deal with, and I'm still dealing with it. Like last year, I was posted my 30 days. The 30 days first 30 days I went off the stuff. And I was generating some buzz doing that. But here we are a year later. It turns out that this program, it's a long-term program. And I had a long-term habit. So there you go. My doctor says that they try to get me off it before I'm ready. Then it's going to be more, there's more a chance I'm going to relapse. And then granted, it wouldn't be as big a deal as like a relapsing on H, because you just go to the store and buy some leaf powder or buy it off the internet. It's not illegal here. It's not a big deal, but it is addictive. And that's why I got addicted, because it's addictive. And I thought, well, it's legal. I can do it. Well, that's what happens. And then I had to drink this stuff every 4 hours, or I'd start getting sick. It wasn't like that at first. It took a couple years before I got to that point, but it was like I would have 2 doses a day, then it was like 3, and then 4, and then 5, and 6. It was a lot. I was drinking 1 kilo of that stuff a month. And when I'm posting about my recovery, I'm getting people that are following me that run kratom farms and dispensaries from like Southeast Asia, and they'll message me, do you want great deal on big kratom? No, you missed the boat. And also I had a good supplier. I don't know about going through some shady guy online that messages you. Yeah. How about all those people that message you on like Instagram and stuff like that, and they'll have like these deals for things that you shouldn't be buying, or just messed up stuff. Never click on those sex links. Never. Now I'm getting these ambassador links for affiliates, and I don't know how legitimate some of them are. I don't answer any of them, for one. It's not a sponsorship. They're not sending me any free crap. And anyway, I don't think I should give them my address. I would get P.O. Box, obviously. Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't need to know my address. I don't need people just showing up and shit. That pisses me off. You want to fucking come over, make a fucking appointment. I'll be glad to entertain you, unless you want to come over and act like an asshole. Get all fucking drunk and shit and be a fucking jerk. I'm not cleaning up after motherfuckers that I don't want to clean up after. Alright? I'm not just hosting people because I was so desperate for human contact like I used to be. I got my girlfriend. I got my mom. You know, that's all I need. I got the parents downstairs. Her parents. I got my kitty. I got the followers. 5,500 on, well, about 5,500 on TikTok. 2,200 on Twitter. And then like another 400 on Facebook. Yeah. And there's other ones too. There's too many of these pages. Like I forget. I think I have multiple TikTok or multiple Twitter pages, multiple Instagram pages. It just got to be too much. I'm glad TikTok pisses me off, but it's good that they're bringing everything on, trying to get everything on the one centralized platform where everything's happening. Come on. Everything's happening. Let's do it. And that's where we are. We're doing it here. We're doing it on the talk. Make it easier for me so I don't have to post on 10 million goddamn pages. Although I wish that the share would share to more apps. But I think if we're too much in competition, they don't want to do that. Like it doesn't want to share to YouTube. Or does it? Not mine. Yeah. Nope. I can share to Gmail, Twitter, PS app, Instagram, Discord, Zoom. Yeah. And I was doing YouTube for years. I had like 400 videos. I like to record my live performances and put them up there. But there was just not a whole lot of action going on over there. I have a podcast. I haven't done an episode in over a year. I guess this is my podcast now. I'm comfortable with that because the podcast was a lot of editing. I like to have my cuts and things. I like to have my my little banners at the bottom with looking all nice, but it takes a long fucking time, and it would piss me off knowing when I post a video that took me like 2 weeks or whatever, or take 12 hours or something to do from beginning to end, when I could post a TikTok video that I did in like 10 minutes and get more views. So it's like, what's the point? But, there's always a point, right? There's always a point. I gotta find my way. And I'm just kind of feeling it out and trying to find the place where I will be loved and find people to love. Find love in a spiritual sense, because I already have love at home. Sophia is amazing. Oh, but it's so difficult with this coronavirus crap. It's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame. It really put the brakes on everything. And, it's just fucked. But, it could be worse. I could have my phone shut off any day now. Yeah, I don't know about that either. Thank you, Dude Ernesto. I would like to join you in another time. So I don't feel confident enough to go into somebody else's feed right now. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. That could go either way. That's weird. It's weird for me to just talk to somebody normally, but talk to a stranger randomly. Yeah, I never did that Snapchat or text. What the freak was that? Where it was like chat roulette. Yeah, never did that. Didn't I don't know, it didn't appeal to me when I found out that it was mostly people beating their meat. I'm just going to be here. I'm going to keep writing my poetry. I'm going to keep writing and writing and writing every day. And if I miss it, well, fuck. I'm just going to keep moving forward. And worst comes to worst, I'm going to have just a nice pile of writing to have. And if I need to publish it myself one day. Like, I've been published in magazines and on websites. And I've been published in a couple little books. The Spokane Writes and Poetry and Prose Anthology. And the 2019 Washington State Emerging Poets, Best Emerging Poets or something. It was nice. I'd like my own book, not just a chat book. I did actually format a chat book, and I went to the course to do it, like at the Spokane Print and Publishing Center, and I thought he was going to print it out for me. Turns out he just had the course to tell you how to do it and to get it all. Like, he was like, oh, you got to do that yourself. Really? I got to print that stuff out myself and get everything on both sides and like, oh, put the cover on and staple it up and make like 20 of them or 30 of them. No thanks. I'm not that good with my hands or my brain. Like, he had one of the things that he had us do for that class was letter typeset or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is with the letters, the metal letters, and you have to put them backwards. You write everything backwards, and it just, God, that fucked me up so much. And I got sick while I was there. I was throwing up in the bathroom. I had to leave early. My chapbook never got done. Like, there's two little poetry books that got made, and I got both of them. One has a cover and one doesn't. Well, one day there'll be a real book. Hell, they could make a book out of the poems that I've written my mother over the years, and the poems I've written my girlfriend. But my mother, I've been writing her poems for her birthday and Christmas and birthday, Christmas, Mother's Day, every year for 1 million years. And I'm going to keep writing them, even when she's mad at me. Hey! That's nice. So yeah. With a poem. This is a poem I wrote last year. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. When the pandemic began. But guess what? It was written around the same time as this year, or as now, and approximately. And it's very, still very valid. It's called Everything's Closed. Everything's closed. What do you know? Never been a better time to try and take it slow. St. Patty's Day, canceled. March Madness, March nothingness. The only constant are the toilet paper shortages and the wet dreams of news agencies incarnate. Stay tuned 24 hours a day for your coronavirus updates. Oh yeah? Is that so? Well, here's a message for you, boobs. Go fuck yourselves. CBS, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and all the rest of these. Here's why you should be stricken with anguish today. Our society is held together with little more than duct tape, fancy Chinese technology, and a distant, waning prayer. But what good will all the electronics in the world be if, when the dust thus settles, there's nothing left to plug into? They're beefing up our police state surveillance. Everybody's ready to stab their neighbor in the back. But not me. I am willing to help uphold the last bastions of sanity. Though what am I doing? I should be panicking. All the kids are here, screaming out of school for a month or more. Mommy's burnt out and daddy can't go to the bar. He can only drink and drink and drink at home. He wishes he could be alone, but little Jimmy is screeching in his ear. Oh, why did I not wear a fucking condom? Daddy says to his gun. He puts the barrel in his mouth and begins to cry. He does not want to die, but he does not want to live in this world either. The new normal? I hope not. I pray it shall not stay this way. Thank you. That was a poem. It was written March 17th, 2020. Wow. Well, it's been real, folks. I hope everyone has a great evening. I'm going to go out, have a little break, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to go on Twitch for a little while. I'm going to stream Watch Dogs Legion on PlayStation 4. Not a popular game. A lot of people have hate for it, but I want to see if this dog's bark is worse than its bite. So, thank you, and I will see you soon. Hopefully tomorrow at some certain time, maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow evening. If you want to see more Manzoni, let me know. Let me know. Thank you, and have a good evening.